you know, because there's that CNC Music Factory video, and you're not in that video either.
No.
But that part that we really know, would you just sing, everybody sing that part so they'll know. If you can hit that note.
In many ways, Martha Wash is an unsung music legend, one of the most recognizable voices in history, but it's taken quite a bit of time for her recognition to catch up to the popularity of her voice. That recognition has come to the forefront a bit more with the rise of social media, and audiences being able to pull back the layers on her story. The story of Martha Wash shines a bright light on the music industry's ugly past, the pressures of not fitting the mold, and fighting for recognition. Martha Wash is a true underdog, at the same time, a true titan in her arena. The voice behind so many iconic hits, she has been dubbed the Queen of Clubland. Her honorific title was earned through hard work and perseverance. Martha Wash comes from a gospel background, and you can hear that in her voice. Every run, every belt, her power and projection is that of a student of gospel music, and quite frankly, an expert of gospel music and singing. Soulful, emotive, and projection that could knock down a brick wall. After high school, she met Izora Rhodes, who would be a pivotal partner within her career. In 1976, she auditioned as a background vocalist for iconic disco singer Sylvester. Impressed with her vocal talent, Sylvester instantly saw a vision for her, and asked if she had a friend of a similar size that could also sing. And that's when Izora Rhodes came into the picture. The trio operated as a unit, with Sylvester taking center stage. They all came from gospel backgrounds and got along well. The girls debuted as 2 Tons of Fun, Sylvester's backing group, and they were an extremely integral part of his sound and stage performances. They had a long-standing working and personal relationship with him, and took part in his career-defining work. They had a sound that was heavily sought after in disco and dance music during that time. 2 Tons of Fun eventually scored a record deal of their own, which caused a bit of friction between them and Sylvester, because they didn't work with him as often as they usually did, and he had attained most of his success alongside them. Nonetheless, they continued to move forward, and 2 albums came from 2 Tons of Fun. The first one being titled Just Us, and the second one being Back At Ya. These albums, along with their singles, are far more successful within the dance community and clubs, but they weren't necessarily a pop breakthrough. Then Raining Man came along, one of the most recognizable songs in pop history, and a true blue novelty hit. As successful as the song was, a lot of divas passed on this song, including Cher, Diana Ross, Barbra Streisand. They all rejected it. However, the song was originally written with Donna Summer in mind, who rejected the song with a swiftness and denounced it as blasphemous. Donna had recently become a born-again Christian at that time. Even 2 Tons of Fun did not want to record the song. They thought the lyrical content was crazy, and they thought the song wouldn't be successful. The songwriter pleaded with them to record it, and they obliged, and needless to say, it paid off. Raining Man hit #1 on the dance charts, and became a Billboard Hot 100 hit, and has since been featured in various forms of media. The song became so popular that they rebranded as the Weather Girls, but they had a hard time trying to replicate the success of Raining Man. After all, it is a very campy novelty song. But one thing's for certain, their talent is undeniable. After a few more attempts and albums with the Weather Girls, by the late 80s, they disbanded, and Martha Wash took on a career as a session and background vocalist. And for a while, she did standard background session vocalist work. Somewhere along the lines, she would become the sound of various groups, but she would not receive proper credit due to shady business practices. As Wash continued her session work, she reunited with producer David Cole, a session musician who worked with people like Fleetwood Mac, Janet Jackson, and Mariah Carey. He had also been Wash's pianist and musical director for the Weather Girls. Cole was now the co-founder of house music production team CNC Music Factory. The other person involved in this group was Robert Cavilles. Before the group struck out on their own, Cavilles and Cole had been a prolific house production duo, working as freelance producers for Chaka Khan and Grace Jones. David would call Martha to do demos for him. What was initially supposed to be a studio project turned into an official dance music group called Seduction. This came after Wash's vocals for their second song, You're My One and Only True Love, became an unexpected hit. The production duo quickly put together a trio of 3 beautiful women to be the face of Seduction, with Wash only getting backing vocalist credit on her own song. The video featured these women shamelessly lipping to Martha Wash's vocals. In 1989, Groove Groove Melody would come into the picture. Groove Groove Melody rebranded under the name Black Box. According to Wash, she was paid a flat fee to record demos to be presented to other singers. Instead, the producers included her vocals on nearly every song on Black Box's debut album, Dreamland, including hits like Everybody Everybody, I Don't Know Anybody Else, Fantasy, and Strike It Up. Wash was never credited in the album's liner notes on what is essentially her album. Instead, Katrin Quinal, a thin pretty model, was used as the face of Black Box instead. Martha could not believe that this same scenario was happening again, and that she was once again being ostracized for her weight. A reminder of her being picked on because of her weight when she was younger, she took action this time. In July of 1990, the singer filed her first lawsuit against Caveles, Cole, and Seduction's record label A&M Records for unauthorized use of her voice. 2 months later, Wash would file another lawsuit against Black Box and RCA Records for commercial appropriation, claiming she never received proper credit for any of the Black Box songs. But it doesn't stop there. When Caveles and Cole began recording under the name CNC Music Factory, they too paid Wash a flat fee to record background vocals, including the now ubiquitous Everybody Dance Now hook. According to Rolling Stone, Wash declined to say how much she was paid for the session, but court papers filed at the time alleged that the fee was less than $1,000 with no royalties. I was told it was going to be a demo for another singer, Wash said. It wasn't. In October of 1990, the group released a song and subsequent video featuring the band's other singer, Zelma Davis, lip-syncing to Wash's vocals.
So this was the late 80s, and around that time, or actually a couple years later, there were a few very, very successful producer-driven dance pop acts, like CNC Music Factory, Technotronic.
Sure.
And they were often fronted by these sort of skinny little model types who weren't actually even singing.
Yeah.
As a true vocalist, what did you think about that when all that?
Shame, shame, shame. Shame on you. Yeah, because, you know, I know, for instance, CNC Music Factory, Martha Wash was the singer on that record. And when we saw the video, we saw a very, you know, cute little dark-skinned child singing the song, which we knew it wasn't her. I certainly knew it wasn't her because I know Martha Wash from years ago, and the woman can sing, and you can't mistake that voice. So to me, it was like, well, wow, you know, you made a hit song off of this woman's voice. How come we can't see her? What's the big deal? Because she's a heavy-set woman with a beautiful face and this gigantic, fabulous, tremendous, rock-kicking ass voice. What's the problem? You know, is it the image situation? Well, today I know that there are beautiful, big women who can sing, and we love them. You know, why are we afraid to hear the truth?
Zelma Davis explained she was encouraged by the label to lip sync, and she was open about it to the crew that was producing her music videos. However, label representatives told her to be quiet about not singing the song. Despite being the track's primary singer, Wash was only listed in the album's liner notes as one of 6 background vocalists. Martha was confused on why her demo vocal had made the final version without her consent. The producer denied that Martha not being featured had anything to do with her appearance. Wash sued Caveles and Cole once again, along with CNC's record label, CBS Sony, for $500,000 for fraud, deceptive packaging, and commercial appropriation. It was false advertising, says Wash, and the public needed to know about that.
Why do you think this is not your video, your album, because it is your voice? What's up?
It seems like in the business you have to have the look. You have to have the image. And as you can see in most videos that you look at nowadays, what you see here does not fit the image.
Robert Caveles maintained that the lawsuit was unnecessary and that he loved Martha. During that time period, 8 songs featuring her vocals hit #1 on the dance charts. A&M Records, the label behind Seduction, would settle with Wash for an undisclosed amount. RCA and Wash reached an undisclosed financial settlement as well. Speaking of the RCA case, the president at that time, Joseph Galante, told the Los Angeles Times in 1991, "Once we were made aware that Martha was the real singer, we did the right thing." Wash settled with Sony for an undisclosed settlement as well, with the label making the unprecedented request to MTV to add a disclaimer to the Gonna Make You Sweat video, crediting Wash for vocals and Davis for the visualization. After winning Best Dance Video at the 1991 MTV VMAs, the members of CNC Music Factory thanked everyone but Wash.
There's many blessings. I'd like to thank each and every one of you. I'd like to thank Sony. But the real thing I want to say is I really am deeply grateful to you all for believing in us and not falling prey to this whole lip syncing thing, because we are not a lip sync group. We are for real 100%. And Miss Zelma right here can sing.
Yeah.
And we want to thank you all for that.
Everything came to a head with the Milli Vanilli scandal as well, a performance duo that did not sing their own songs. This scandal occurred around the same time as Martha's own, and it led to multiple class action consumer fraud suits by those who bought Milli Vanilli and Black Box albums. As a result, and largely due to Martha Wash speaking up for herself, it was required that labels properly credit their talent. She would eventually team up with CNC Music Factory in 1994, making peace with David Cole before he tragically passed away due to AIDS in 1995. Reflecting on her career, she said, "Time has passed, and I'm at the point now where it doesn't bother me. I'm still here. I had to knock upside the head a few times, but I wouldn't change it for anything because it's helped me be who I am." She has since been hailed as a gay icon, a trailblazer, and one of the defining voices of dance music. A lot of people see themselves in Martha's story, especially disenfranchised groups, where your skill or talent has proven to be great, even profitable, yet you're not seen as desirable enough to be the face of your own talent. Also, Martha Wash is a good-looking woman. I think it's insane that the 90s treated her as if she shouldn't be seen, especially when she had already proven that she could sell while being in front of the camera as a weather girl. She was outcasted for being a plus-sized black woman. But luckily, there is a happy ending. She got to see the tide switch in her favor. She got to embark on a solo career. She's been an activist for autism and AIDS. She's collabed with people such as RuPaul and Luther Vandross. And she is a dance music legend. She helped define an entire sound and style of music. She has such a fascinating story and one that really commands respect.